guys, this is Mara at the Reading Hedgehog with my May book haul. I have hauled 35 books this month, which is more or less better than my 60 book haul of last month. Most of these I did buy. Some of them were on sale, some of them are given to me. But I'm going to start with the new releases, and any of the books I have reviewed, I will link them below, just so you know. So, first up is Love Letters to the Dead by Ava Delara. This came out April 1st, so it's not exactly a new release, but you guys have probably seen a lot of booktubers talking about this. It's a contemporary novel. I bought it because I'm going to be able to meet the author on June 19th, and the narration style intrigued me. It's this high school girl tells her life essentially through letters to famous people like Kurt Cobain and Amy Winehouse and people like that. And that just kind of intrigued me. I'm reading it right now. I'm about 100 pages in, and I don't really care about any of the characters, but I am still reading it and intrigued, oddly enough. I am enjoying it pretty well. Plus, it's really pretty. Then I have The Luckuglies by Paul Durham, which came out April 29. This is a middle grade book. I think it's historical fiction, but it may be historical fantasy. I'm not quite certain. But it has to do with total blank. Kids on the streets and just kind of that awesome time period I love. So it sounded interesting. Decided to buy it. Then I have A Time to Dance by Padma Vikramsharan. This came out May 1st. And if any of you watched my previous book haul, you probably saw me go on and on about this author's book, Climbing the Stairs. It's one of my ultimate favorites. So of course I got this one. It takes place in India and about a girl who loves dancing, but then she goes lame, I think, and then she can't dance anymore. What I didn't know when I got this is it's actually told in verse. And I haven't read that many books told in verse, but the ones I have read I do like. It's not my favorite narration style, but I'll give it a try because it's that author. Whoa, almost dropped those. Next I have The Falconer by Elizabeth May. This came out May 6th, and this is the first book in a planned trilogy. I have read this. I read an arc before it came out. I gave it 3 out of 5 strawberries. It was a lot better than I was expecting. I actually didn't mind the characters. I loved the world, and I loved a lot of things about it. I'm not sure if the trilogy will stay good. We'll see. But this is historical fantasy slash steampunk slash fairy fiction, which I made up. It takes place in Edinburgh, and this girl, Aliana, I think is how you pronounce her name, she's like a socialite girl, but not very good at it, obviously, because they never are, but so at night she hunts fairies, because her mother was killed by a fairy, and she wants to hunt them down and kill all the bad ones. And then she ends up finding out some big secret about herself and her mother and the fairies in Edinburgh, and it was good. The romance is focused on a bit more than I'd like, but it was still good. It surprised me. Next I have A Creature of Moonlight by Rebecca Hahn, and this probably has bad glare. This also came out May 6th. It is another middle grade, I think, fantasy with dragons and an outcast girl and missing princesses and all that kind of good stuff, and it's so shiny and pretty. Did not get it for that reason. Next I have Savage Drift by Emmy Laybourne. This also came out May 6th, and this is the 3rd book in the Monument 14 trilogy. More on that later, but I also got this book because I'm going to meet Emmy Laybourne the same time I'm meeting the author of Love Letters to the Dead. This is post-apocalyptic book, like I said, the 3rd book in the Monument 14 series. Have not read it yet. Hopefully I'll get to read it before I meet the author. Next I have Deep Blue by Jennifer Donnelly, also a May 6 new release. I actually had the arc for this. Didn't get around to reading it, so I just went ahead and bought it, even though I haven't heard that great of reviews for it. It's been kind of mediocre, but this is a mermaid fantasy novel, and I haven't read that many mermaid books, and so I thought I'd give it a try, and hopefully I didn't waste my money. It's always a risk. Next I have We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This came out May 13, and this is another contemporary book, and I hate contemporary, but I seem to be buying and reading a lot of it lately. I actually got this because it was the Booksplosion Book of the Month for June, and everyone who has been talking about it was talking about how it's a book full of twists, and no one ever gives you a synopsis because it ruins everything, so I'm not going to either, because if you knew anything about this book, it would either raise your expectations so high that you'd be disappointed once you read the book, or it would just ruin it. So I'm not going to. But I finished this recently. I gave it... Actually, I haven't rated it yet because I haven't read my review. I'm thinking about 3, maybe 4 strawberries. I did not see the twist coming. And while I didn't care for any of the characters, it was definitely more plot-driven, and I did really actually enjoy the narration style. So this was a contemporary I liked. May not be for everyone, though. After that, I have The Tuma Shadows by Peter Larangis, which came out May 13th. This is the 3rd book in the Seven Wonders series, which I have not read yet. It is on my shelf. I do plan on reading it this year because I really want to. I met Peter Larangis before I got his books, and he's really funny, and these books, I've heard nothing but good things about them, and what little I have read of the first book, I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to reading the rest of that. Next up is The Night Gardener by Jonathan Auxier. This came out May 20, and this is kind of a sequel to Peter Nimble and His Fantastic Eyes. I think it's more like a companion novel, but it's along the same lines, and I think takes place in the same world, but this one takes place in Ireland. It has to do with some Irish orphans, and I too had an arc of this as well, didn't get around to reading it, and so I just bought this because I loved Jonathan Auxier's other book, so I was like, why not buy this one? This one just sounds amazing, and I'm sure it is when I get around to reading it. Next up, I have Bad Luck Girl by Sarah Zettel. This came out May 27, and this is the 3rd book in the American Fairy trilogy. I have read the other 2. It was a series that is very weird, but the more I read it, the more I loved it, and I loved the characters, and generally, when it comes to fae fiction, I do not believe that fairies in America work. They need to stay in Britain, but in this case, it worked really, really well. I love this series. I cannot wait to read its conclusion. Then I have Curses and Smoke by Vicky Alvear Schechter. This came out May 27, and to be honest, I didn't know who the author was when I bought this, otherwise I wouldn't have. I read her other book, Cleopatra's Moon, several years ago, did not enjoy it. This one's about Pompeii, and about a girl and a gladiator who fall in love and kind of negotiate the before and after of the Pompeii disaster. Hopefully I won't regret getting it either. I just wasn't impressed with the author's work last time I read it. But we'll see. Then I have Circa Now by Amber McRee Turner. This is a middle grade that came out May 27. This is a butt ugly cover. I hate the cover. But it's a contemporary, but it's kind of contemporary with a twist, I think. This girl's dad does Photoshop, and I think he dies, and the stuff that he photoshopped ends up actually happening, if that makes any sense. So it sounded intriguing and interesting, and we'll ignore the ugly cover and the ugly spine. That's hideous. After that, I bought Allies and Assassins by Justin Somper. This is the 1st book in a planned series, also May 27. It's a high fantasy, and it sounded a lot like Jennifer A. Nielsen's The Ascendants trilogy. And ever since I finished reading that book, I've been dying to read something similar to it, so this sounded right up the alley, as we're, so very excited to read this one. And the last new release I bought is The Castle Behind Thorns by Mary Haskell, also May 27. This, I think, is kind of a loose retelling of Sleeping Beauty. I love Mary Haskell. She's a middle grade writer. I read The Princess Curse years back. I gave it 3 out of 5 strawberries, but I do like it. And yeah, I love her books, so I wanted to get her next one, especially if it's a fairy tale retelling. So the next books I'm going to show you are ones I just bought. They're not new releases. I just bought them because I could, which is, enough of a reason, right? So next I have is Handbook of Dragon Slayers, also by Mary Haskell. I figured since I was buying her newest book and I have her other book, why not buy the one I don't have or haven't read? So I did, and I don't know what it's about. Dragon Slayers, and I think a girl who goes looking for dragons. Good enough for me. And after that, I have Dust Girl by Sarah Zettel and Golden Girl, book 1 and 2 in the American Fairy trilogy. Since I was getting the third book, I thought I need to buy these, and these were planned. So I got them, and yay, I have the entire trilogy now, so if I want to reread it, I can. After that, I bought Monument 14 and Sky on Fire by Amy Laybourne, book 1 and 2 in the Monument 14 trilogy. I bought these for obvious reasons, because I'm meeting the author, and so I want her to sign all of them. I have read Monument 14. I gave it 3 out of 5 strawberries. I liked it. It's not the best post-apocalyptic book I've ever read. It's funny, the first time I tried to read this book, I hated it. I didn't even get 20 pages in, but I gave it another try, and I liked it better this time, mostly because I figured out that the protagonist was a guy. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading the rest of the series. After that, I bought The Testing and Independent Study by Joelle Charbonneau. I have read The Testing, gave it 3 out of 5 strawberries. I enjoyed it. It's not, the characters and world building were underdeveloped, but it's an enjoyable series, and the third book in the trilogy is coming out in June, so I thought, why not buy both of them and finish reading it, because I still need to read Independent Study. Bad me. So then I went to Walmart, and I was bad. And I bought Hollow City by Ransom Briggs, which is the second book in the Miss Peregrine series trilogy. I had such mixed feelings about Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I actually want to reread it before I get into this one. But I've been staring at this book for a long time, so I figured just go ahead and buy it. It's not going to be the worst mistake you've ever made when it comes to buying books. Then I bought The Girl of Fire and Thorns by Ray Carson, book 1 in, I think it's just called The Girl of Fire and Thorns trilogy? I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know, please. This is actually my book club's July pick. I think it's July. It's either July or August. So I just went ahead and bought it because I could. Might as well just have it on hand. Now this next one's gonna surprise you guys, and I have no real reason for buying it. I bought Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, which is the first book in the Throne of Glass series, and as some of you know, I hated it. And I was not going to make a decision about buying this series until I read book 3, but this is my book club's June pick. And I could have gotten it from the library very easily, but I don't know why I bought it, and I'm sure I'm gonna regret it. So I bought it. Yeah, I can't justify why. The computer was there, and it was slow at work, and I have a discount, and yeah, so I bought it. Don't judge, please. So my next book is Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. This is my Classics for Classic Ladies book club pick for June. Yes, June. I do actually have a copy of this already, but it's like a mini pocket size, and I like having a full-size one too. And the Sterling Classics are so pretty, and they're only $9.95, so I went ahead and bought it, even though I kind of technically already have a copy. So then I put an order into Powell's The City of Books, because I sold a bunch of my paperbacks to them, and I had credit. So these next ones were kind of more or less free. Sort of. I have The Dead of Winter by Chris Priestley. I gave this book 5 out of 5 strawberries, I think 2 years back. It is such a good book. It is so creepy. It's so Edgar Allan Poe. I just love this book. I'm so glad I have it on my shelf now. Then I bought The Body at the Tower by Y.S. Lee. This is the second book in the Agency trilogy, and I have book 1 and 2, so I went book 1 and 3, sorry. So I bought book 2. This is a Victorian mystery trilogy. Series. There's going to be a 4th one. It's middling. I gave this one 3 out of 5 strawberries, I think. Maybe 4 out of 5. I would have to double check. It's got its flaws, but it's enjoyable. The historical facts are good. She does a good job with those. Next, I have Green Jasper by K.M. Grant. This is the second book in the De Granville trilogy. It is a historical fiction Crusader series. I have book 1 and 3, so I bought book 2 because I decided I'm going to finish out buying my series with my money. So I did that. Next, I have The Lioness and Her Knight by Gerald Morris, and I think this is book 4 in the Squire's Tales series. They're retellings of the King Arthur legends. Oh my gosh, I love this series. It is so underrated. It is so good. So now I'll have almost all the books. I think I got 2 more to get. They're hard to find. They're really hard to find. Next I have Crier Cross by Lisa McMahon, and it is a thriller / mystery. I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I decided to get it because it was like $4. So I did. And then I got Brissinger by Christopher Paolini, which is book 3 in the Inheritance Cycle. I do not like the Inheritance Cycle, but this was $2.50. And my copies of Aragon and Eldest, my sister and I write really, really snarky comments in the margins. I know, defacing a book. I don't do it usually, but these are a special case. And for $2.50, I was like, why not? This has some great opportunities for some wonderfully snarky moments, so I went ahead and got it. And yeah, but I'm not a Paolini fan. So this one isn't from Powell City Books. It was from a random antique store I went into one day. And it is the complete works of Shakespeare. Yes, these are all of Shakespeare's plays, sonnets, and poems. He actually wrote a few poems, which I did not know. I feel a little embarrassed not knowing that. Yes, so, yes, the fact that this was complete works was reason enough to spend $50 on it. I mean, it's an old book. It was printed in I think it said 1920 something. The only downside is there are no side notes, so I have to actually look stuff up if I don't understand what Shakespeare's saying. But now I've got all of his plays, and I'm very excited about that, because I love Shakespeare. I do. I'm not saying that just because I want to sound worldly. I do love Shakespeare. I got favorite plays, and they're not the typical ones. So, the next books I have were gifts and sent to me by the author. So the gift that was sent to me by my friend Hazel. She sent it kind of, not technically for my birthday, but it came with my birthday stuff, which actually I'm going to disappear off camera soon because I want to show you what else she sent me for my birthday. But she sent me Crucible of Gold by Naomi Novik. I think this is book 6 in the Tremere series. She was clearing off her shelves and said, hey, do you want this one? I was like, oh sure, I have the other books, or I had them. Now I have to buy them again because they were in paperback and I got rid of them. So yeah, she sent me this. Thank you so much, Hazel. It's awesome. I hope I don't hate it as much as you did. That would just be sad. And this next book was sent to me by the author, and it is After the Parch by Sheldon Green. I gave this book no strawberries. I gave it my Special Awfulness Award. It was horrid, to say it nicely. You can check out my review for more details. And now excuse me while I disappear off screen and show you what my friend Hazel got me for my birthday. You can stare at my empty chair. Okay, back. So this is not book related. But my friend Hazel sent me these, and they're adorable, so I want to show them. And they are an otter version of Sherlock and a hedgehog version of John Watson. They're plushies, and they're so adorable, and I can't tell you how much I screamed when I saw these, because they are just so, so, so cute. So again, thank you so much, Hazel, for sending these to me. They're just adorable. And my hedgehog wants to steal Otterlock, by the way. So that is my May book haul. And I will see you guys next month with another one. Bye!